Hey genderqueer chat, this is Cole here, and I first wanted to apologize for not making a video last week. I've had some stuff happen in my personal life that's kind of had taken its toll on me last week, so I was unable to post. But I really loved everyone's video. I thought about making a video for it, but I really think everyone said anything that I would have said. Everybody did such a great job last week on their videos, so no big deal. But this week we're talking about if genderqueer people are more likely to struggle with depression, and if so, to what extent do they feel that mental health professionals understand their struggles and provide appropriate and adequate support. And this is actually a viewer topic, so I really love these because it's from you guys, and I always want to give my opinion on stuff that you guys want to hear about. I don't have a lot of scientific data to back up what I'm going to say. Everything I'm saying is based on opinion and based on what I have observed in my life. So I don't know if there is scientific data out there. If there is, I would love for you guys to comment below and share with me any scientific evidence on this topic, because I think it would be an interesting thing. I don't know if they've done the research yet. Gender variance of any kind, whether it be being genderqueer or non-gendered or trans, is a difficult thing to manage mentally in this specific society. I guess I'd be speaking of the only society that I've had direct contact with, which would be American society. This is the only place I've lived long term to be able to observe these types of things. And I think it's a difficult thing to manage mentally in this society because sometimes there's not adequate language for it. And I know that Zane Laura Gabriel talks a lot about Brazil and how they don't really have genderqueer, as there's no word in Portuguese for that. And I know that although we have the word genderqueer and trans, there's still sometimes not adequate language for some people to describe their identity. And then also on top of that, there's really no visible community outside of the internet for a lot of people. Most of the people that I come in contact with, of course, are from the South. And honestly, unless you're in a city, it's really, there's just really not any kind of community for you to look at and see where you fit in, or that there's other people that, you know, relate to you. But that's, thankfully now there is the internet, and that's such a great tool for people that don't have, aren't constantly surrounded by gender minorities or things like that. I mean, I know because of there being no visible community and for some people no adequate language or very little, isolation can definitely take its toll more easily than, say, if somebody was constantly surrounded by gender variance or gender variance acceptance, or even, you know, a lot of education and constant immersion in questioning those types of things. Now, as far as the second part of the question about medical professionals and do you think that they understand the struggles of genderqueer people and provide appropriate and adequate support, again, this is my just from my observations. I have had 4 total friends of mine transition by means of hormone replacement therapy, and they had to go through a medical professional first before obtaining this, and they've had varying stories. One of them went out of state to a specialist that actually specialized in gender hormone therapy replacement and gender reassignment, and that was a positive experience. The other 3 were either negative, or the doctor took a really long time to give them the permission, like a year or 2 years. So I've heard, you know, that sometimes the doctors can be a little bit cold, but that's, I think, doctors in general sometimes, and that they just didn't really get it. The therapists, you know, were having a hard time understanding a trans identity. And this, again, isn't probably always the case. This is just from the people's experiences that I've conversed with in the South. The people that have transitioned around me are happy now, and everything went fine. It's just, you know, it took a lot longer than it would in say other states, or in Canada or other places. I personally have dealt with depression and anxiety myself. A lot of that stems from my gender dysphoria and how I interact with people in social settings, especially those that are not aware of my gender identity. I have been known to be a little bit socially paranoid in these types of situations, like with family or people that I feel like are judging me, and even if they probably really aren't. And I've definitely had panic attacks and been close to having panic attacks in these types of situations, because the way I thought somebody was viewing me or judging me. And I've gone through and been on medication before and diagnosed with this and that or the other, and none of them really stuck, or none of the medications really worked. So that's been my experience. I haven't had great experiences. I really feel like the problem is with the mental health system in general. I mean, regardless of if you're genderqueer or not, I mean, the mental health system is just really backwards these days. I mean, you spout off a few symptoms to the nurse. They spout that back off to the doctor. They come in and talk to you without making eye contact or treating you like a human, hand you some sedatives, and not knowing your struggle, you know, your life, your background, what you're going through. I don't think that's an acceptable type of situation. I don't think that's beneficial. I think as a larger society, we really need to question if this is the right way to go about supporting people that can't cope, you know, with this insane amount of pressure to succeed in this country, in this society, to make money, to have the perfect family. It's, you know, it's a fucking lot to live up to. And when you defy the social norms, like those outside the gender binary, and just those that, you know, defy society, I mean, it's just even harder to reach those goals when you don't fit in there. So that's my spiel, I guess, for this week. I will see you guys next week, and have a great one. Bye-bye.